Hello, welcome to the Villa View match preview in association with Luke Roper, joined by Chris Dolan to preview the Newcastle game on Friday night at St James's Park. Dolan, how are you?
Yeah, good man. Not too bad. Not too bad. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, very good. Obviously, a light one. There's been a bit of grievances in the Villa View camp this evening because I wanted to watch the Champions League, so we've had to do a later preview. So Dolan has been hassling me all night, telling me to bin it off. Even though it wasn't that great, out of principle, I ended up watching it right till the end just because you were annoying me. So a few grievances, haven't we, today?
No, it's fine, mate. It's okay. I mean, yeah, it's the time's 10 on a Wednesday night, but I've nothing better to do, so it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Exactly, and you're the man with the research. You told me just before we came on that you sat and watched West Bromwich Albion 0, Newcastle 0, Sunday lunchtime. Now, when I was on the BBC on Sunday, I likened watching that game to having to go to the in-laws' house. How bad was it?
It was pretty painful, but I think I learned my lesson. Well, to be frank, I did big up Sheffield's United pre-game and said that it would be tricky, but I mean, it was bad. It was bad on Sunday. It was it's just two very, very, very poor teams who didn't want to lose the game, and obviously Newcastle missing Almiron, missing Wilson, missing St Maxim. There's the rumblings. It was kind of the game after the Ryan Fraser fallout. The Matt Ritchie fallout, and I know Bruce has been unhappy with a specific journalist that was on TalkSport. Thinking he's trying to obviously disrupt the camp, but suppose that all just plays in the favour of teams like Fulham and Brighton and West Brom, teams that are trying to stay in the division. So hopefully it works in our favour. And I mean, I think the home game for sure was probably the most comfortable I've seen us in any game, especially this season.
Except for Liverpool at home 7-2, but yeah.
But
that was a freak.
That was a freak result, but the Newcastle game was just comfortable from start to finish. We were actually quite sloppy in that game. I felt. I thought the second half we were quite sloppy and could have killed the game off and got 3 or 4. But yeah, I think it all depends on one guy, on one man, and at the time of recording, again, we don't know about Jack. We don't know about his fitness. Even if we did know, I'm sure we'd have signed some contract of secrecy and not been allowed to tell anybody. And
wow, I've been digging around, and I tell you what, it's very secret squirrel about Jack Grealish. I tell you what, Greg said the same. No one wants to tell you anything. You can't find out anything about it.
Yeah. I think listen, it's that kind of poker face, and I think, strangely, some of the fans are like thinking that Dean Smith is put up in front of the media every week and told to sort of feed the sort of false information. I know the whole Ross Barkley thing ended up being a few weeks, and then all of a sudden it was a few months. So I think there's a little bit of worry that this might be the same. But I still think if Jack doesn't start or doesn't play on Friday, we should have more than enough. I thought we should have been out of sight against Wolves on Saturday. Thought we started the game, but at the minute we don't really seem to know our best midfield three. He's sort of chopped and changed, and I think it's such an important position. It's the driving engine of your team. And over the last 3 weeks, we've seen Nakamba, we've seen Ramsey, we've seen Sanson, who I thought was really good. Barkley's kind of coming in and he's obviously been off the boil. McGinn's obviously going to be an ever-present. He's found some form of late. I thought he was superb against Leeds. Superb in the first half against Wolves, but like all the players really in the second half, I felt we had a slight dip and we tired towards the ends. But Dean Smith has a way with Steve Bruce. Bruce never seems to be able to outwit Dean Smith, and we're talking from experience as Aston Villa fans. Brentford were one of those clubs that we just that we never beat in the Championship, and we could never beat and never find a way to beat because we just weren't on. I felt we weren't on the tactical level of Dean Smith when Bruce was managing Villa and Dean Smith was managing Brentford. So so from that point of view, Smith always seems to get one up on Bruce. So there's always that for me. There's that kind of mindset that from a psychological point of view, you sort of always feel that he has one up on Steve Bruce. Newcastle probably, along with West Brom and Sheffield United, there's a couple of teams at the minute. Actually, Liverpool has been probably the one of the kind of least form sides in the division. But let's make no mistake about it. They're right in a scrap, like they're right in it, and we talk about Bruce always managing to find a way to pull a result out of the hat. But you look at the injuries he's got, and you look at the kind of the disruption in the camp within the squad, and you sort of wonder maybe has the luck finally ran out for Newcastle, and has actually sort of played all of his trump cards, and is this the season that they go down, and is this the season that Bruce can't quite manage to magic an escape or magic a result when he needs one? And like I say, I hope we can go there on Friday and just pile on the misery.
Yeah, because if you could pick a team to play at the moment in the Premier League, you would probably pick Newcastle. I think that's probably fair to say.
Yeah, Newcastle or West Brom. I think out of all the teams in the bottom half, I think Fulham are probably the most on form and probably play the best football as well.
Fulham have been playing well for months.
Really
good getting the
football.
results.
I tell you what, the Fulham team we faced at the start of the season is night and day to the team we're going to face at Villa Park in a few weeks. So we
played them, didn't we, before the close of the transfer window?
Yeah, so they were.
To be done.
Jamie Carragher's famous post-match comments. He was never certain, never more certain than anything that Fulham going down this season. So yeah, I think that could be a meme or a clip to come back and bite him in the backside. But no, I like Fulham. Obviously, this is a Newcastle preview, but I think if you're talking about teams that you want to play, I think Newcastle certainly one of the teams that you would like to face. I know Sheffield United had a lot of injuries, and but they just seem to adapt whatever happened to us on the night. They just sort of got that bit of luck, and we just weren't at the races. And I think when you take the players out of Newcastle's team, the three players out of Newcastle's team, that is essentially all of their creative talent. That's their front three. That's their spark. You've taken out three of their match winners, three of their game changers, and anybody would struggle. We're struggling missing Jack. So wonder how they feel missing Almiron and Wilson and St. Maxim. So you'd like to think we can go there and put in a performance and get a result.
Well, one man they have got is someone that absolutely loves a goal against us, Dwight Gale. Probably hasn't started many games this season, but I would expect him to probably come in and play against Villa. One of those players, and there's been many over the years, that just every time they seem to play against Villa, they seem to turn into Ronaldo or Messi, don't they? Dwight Gale loves a goal against us.
But this is the Villa that you're thinking about from 2015, 16, 2017, whatever it was.
He scored last season. Did it? Him and Andy Carroll came on, and as I say,
yeah, you're absolutely spot on. But I mean, that defense last season was a bit different. Like Villa. It's a different setup, mate. It's a different setup, and Bruce doesn't seem to trust him. I don't think Bruce really rates him or trusts him. He very rarely starts, even if they're light up top. He doesn't seem to want to start him. I think he'd rather play Andy Carroll than Dwight Gale. So I think at the minute their number 9 is going to be their number 9. That's Joe Linton. So I think he'll probably continue to play up top. But listen, on any given night, any team can beat anyone in that division. And I think we if there's a result that will give us that kind of shake that we need and that kick up the backside that we need going into this is the Sheffield United game, because I think maybe we thought it was won before we stepped on that pitch, and when we got, and although we had all the ball and had all the chances, we were just toothless going forward, and it was a result that certainly that if we're trying to push for this top eight, top six, top eight, Friday's the kind of game that we have to go there and win, because you look at our last 10, 11 games. I mean, they're all tricky. I know we still have to play, Fulham at home and West Brom at home, but we still got to go and play Everton twice. We still got to go and play Tottenham twice. Tottenham have hit a bit of form. Everton are obviously having a really good season, so it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard end of the season, and we need, and you've said quite rightly in a few of the podcasts that you've done, and even I think on 5 Live you were saying that although we're not playing well, we're still managing to pick up the odd result here and there.
Yeah.
You think 4 points in a week. We played well at Leeds, granted, but we were off. Obviously, got beat at Sheffield United and managed to scrape a point against Wolves. So, although we're not playing particularly well, Southampton we were awful. We got 3 points. Brighton we were awful. We got a point. So we're managing to scrape points together, albeit if it's a draw or 3, we're still getting something on the board. And I think I tweeted after the game on Saturday. I just tweeted 40 points. Like, to me, that's a huge achievement from where we were last season. I think we were WhatsApping during the week, and I sort of said, if we can get it around about the 54 to 55 kind of mark by the end of the season, it's looking for another 15 points, 4 or 5 wins. I think that'll be class as an absolutely brilliant season, and that should see us comfortably in the top half. I said 12th. I said sort of top 12 start of the season. If somebody said to me, "No, you'll finish 10th," I'd take it. And I think anywhere in that top 10 is a massive step in the right direction. And I'm for one really excited about the summer. I'm really excited to see what kind of players we get in. And I think say we're really going to get better and better. So whatever happens now between now and the end of the season, it's been a very, very much a triumphant season in my books.
We almost peaked a little bit too soon in some ways, because we had such a good season up until Christmas and just going into the start of the new year. If we'd had a bad start and now we were picking up these points and we were in this position, I think everyone would look at that league table and be really buoyant and think, here we go. We're going to have a really good end to the season. We're in a really positive position. But because of the way around it's happened, you kind of feel like what the good work that the club have done, it's not tainted. Tainted is the wrong word, but people aren't looking as where we are as a success because they think we should be higher because of the way around in which we've done it.
Yeah,
but whichever way you look at it, look at that league table. It's unbelievable position at this stage of the season. Absolutely phenomenal.
And we went on Friday, and we'll be ahead of Liverpool on goal difference with 2 games in hand. So, you're spot on. I think we spoke about COVID maybe derailing the season, but probably hasn't derailed it. We just haven't played. We just haven't been as attractive on the eye. I think December was. I think we were the best team in the division.
Yeah, we were great.
At one point in December, I thought we were unstoppable. We were Palace. That Palace game just blew my mind. We were just unbelievable. I know Palace haven't had a great season, but the fact that we went down to 10 men and we just bossed that second half and could have won that 4 or 5 at least. Chelsea, we were brilliant away. United, I thought we were so unlucky on New Year's Day. West Brom, we were brilliant. Wolves, we were brilliant. I mean, December, we were magnificent. And that's why I was sort of so excited. And I think that's why we were on such a high as a fan base. And we all were sort of thinking, okay, could this be a top 6? Could this be even a top 4? I mean, we're still in with a shout for top 4 now if we go on a mad run, which we probably
top 6
won't.
is more than achievable still.
More than achievable. But I just think because we were in such a great place, and we were flying in December, absolutely flying, and COVID did derail us slightly. We've managed to pick up a couple of wins since we've come back, but I just think we don't look as pleased on the eye. We don't look as fluid. We don't
Yeah, I
look
think that's fair.
as slick. And I think we just look a little bit off the boil, and we look a little bit unfit. We don't look as fit as we did in December. And listen, it's been a really, really tough season for everybody. And you know, you look at our season and think it's at this point maybe a few bubbles have been burst, but you look at teams like Liverpool and the players they have in their squad, and you know, they score one goal in 10 hours of Premier League football or whatever it is it's just not a normal season. It's not a normal season by anyone's standards. The only team that
I guess that's why people are going to see it as a missed opportunity, because it's not a normal season.
Well, I was the one.
Again.
And I was the one saying, like, you know, before Christmas, I was like, you know, if we can go into this window and get in a striker, get in somebody to help Watkins, we could because of the season being the way it was panning out, we could easily push for that top four. And you know, nobody spent any money in January, but I think we're probably looking at teams like West Ham and going, well, if they've managed to stay up there, then why haven't we? You know, they've only got one striker, and he's not even a striker in Antonio. He isn't even a recognised striker. He's been a right back at one stage of his career. So he you know, they've managed to sort of have a really settled midfield partnership in the centre, and they've managed to, on the whole, stay clear of injuries. And when they did have injuries, Hatter came in and banged in a few, and then he obviously went off to Ajax. But like I said, whatever happens between now and the end of the season, looking back on it, it's been another one of those sliding door moments. You know, that game against West Ham when we stayed up was very much a sliding door moment for us, because it allowed us to attract the players like Martinez. It allowed us to spend 30 odd million on Watkins and bring in the likes of Traore and Cash, and again we'll go again. End up going for, you know, I think we'll go in for the likes of Tammy Abraham in the summertime. I think we'll spend big again. I honestly do. I think we'll go again. I think we'll get 5 or 6 players. You know, I think people like Elmo will probably leave because his contract's up. You know, people like Neil Taylor will go again because his contract's up. So we'll probably see 4 or 5 players leave the club, and I think we'll bring in another 4 or 5 players, and I think we'll probably spend the guts of 120 million quid again this summer, and I think we're going to have a really, really, really solid, strong squad. And you know, I heard the press say when we were on a winning run, "Oh, Dean, you know, your squad's good and your squad's strong." But for me, our squad's not been strong enough as a squad. We've only had maybe 12 or 13 players to pick from. I think we're probably we've been sussed out now. I think, you know, we make the same subs and we bring on the same players, and there's nothing really that we can do to kind of shake it up a little bit. But you know, you look at the likes of Ramsey coming through. He's going to be much better for it next season. I think we'll see the likes of Louis Barry probably come in around the first team. And I think we'll see a couple of those players from Mark Delaney's under 23s that will be in around that squad, and they'll bring a youth. They'll bring a youthfulness, a vibrancy, a hunger, and a desire, and that's what we need. And you know, to have had one of the best academies in the country back in the 90s and early 90s, I think now we're starting to come back, and it's like full circle again. We're kind of becoming that club that hopefully will start to churn out real top quality players. And you know, for me, this season, the future's only gonna be bright. And I'm really excited for the summer, and I'm really excited for the kind of quality player that we're going to attract. It's all about holding on to Jack as well. I know he's been tied down to a long-term deal, but obviously money talks. But if we can keep Jack, why would you not want to go and play alongside Jack Grealish, one of the most gifted footballers on the planet? So
I think what you're saying is true about the club. I think they want to bring in players of higher quality every summer than the ones we have, which they 100% achieved in the summer just gone. But what they also want to do, which we probably weren't ready to do in the last summer, is supplement the squad with those youth players as well. In the next year or two, you're going to see a higher quality of youth player. than has been in the last 10 years coming into the Villa first team, along with 2 or 3 quality additions. And you're right, we're going to get better year upon year. And if we can finish somewhere around the top 8 this year, I think that shows real progress. You spoke about West Ham, and I think the thing that separates them at the moment is that central midfield of Rice and Souček. I think that gives the attackers a great platform, and it gives the defence unbelievable protection as well. So I think they've got the best of both. Villa have been stumbling. The midfield's been changing. It's the midfield that's not quite right at the moment. Back four, when everyone's fit, goalkeeper picks itself. Watkins, as the striker, obviously, as he's the only one pretty much, picks himself. Dean Smith's teams usually end the season well, so we've hopefully got that to come as well. But he's going to need to get that midfield back for him because there's something amiss at the moment. Whatever combination we try, it's not quite working. What do you think he'll do? What do you think he'll do Friday? In my mind, I'm kind of thinking we should just go back to Louise, McGinn and Barkley. Just go back to
because that was tried and tested for us. That was tried and tested, and it was getting results. And sadly, really sadly, Barkley's the fall guy at the minute, and I think he's missing his mate Jack Grealish. And I don't like when players get singled out and everything.
He'll come good. He'll
come good, but every bad touch, every bad pass just gets blown out of proportion, and he's just having a bit of a bad time of it at the minute. It's just not working for him. But he hasn't become a bad player in the last 3 months. He's still the same quality player that we saw when he first joined us. But you're right. For me, I would stick with that midfield 3, and
I think he will.
Well, we thought he would against Sheffield United, but he didn't. He kept Nakamba in there. I thought he'd bring Barkley back into the team, and again, I thought he'd bring him back into the team on Saturday. But he's going to have to come back in, and he's going to have to come good at some point. Because I'd love to sign him. I'd love him to finish the season strongly, and I'd love to sign him. I think he's the kind of player that if we can tie it down on a permanent, I think he'll be quality for us over the next couple of seasons. But I'm concerned about Luis. I don't know. Kind of wondering, maybe. I know it's kind of looking into things too much, but is his head being turned? Is he thinking about? Is he going to get in? Is he going to get into that Man City team next year? Is he going to stay at Villa? Where's he going to be at? At the minute, the way he's playing, Pep's not going to want to call him back, but. He's dipped. He's in a massive dip in form. He was been in
and out there recently as well, which never helps. But he probably needed a game or two out as well.
But he needed a rest. He needed a rest, and he's come back in. He's been a little. I mean, he was poor on Saturday, but again, he's one I would love to keep. He's one I think will be an unbelievable player for us. And again, he's only 21, 22. But yeah, I think we're on the same page when it comes to that midfield 3. I think I still think our strongest midfield 3 is Barkley, McGinn, and Luis. We've blown teams away with that midfield 3 this season, and that's the midfield 3 I'd go for. I just think I know Barkley's not quite bad, but I just think he has that in his locker. He has that magic and that brilliance in his locker, and I think once he has a good game, or once he has a moment of magic in a game, I think that'll reignite something for him. But I think everyone's big focus is will Jack play on Friday, and he posted that video on Monday, I think it was, with the little battery thing, the little battery emoji. So if you're going to look into that, then he's probably ready and energized to go again on Friday. But who knows?
Oh, but we're recording this before the press conference, so by the time people have watched this, there'll probably be a press conference, and we might have a bit more information about what's going on. Obviously, we hope he does play. Just back to Barkley quickly. Newcastle's a good game to play him. Good. If you want to get him firing again, like we said, Newcastle are a team you'd want to play at the moment. I mean, this could be famous last words. I think you've got to pick him. If he just takes one thing, I think he's got a decent record against Newcastle. I remember he scored an unbelievable goal. Yeah, unbelievable goal. He's capable, so I think we've got to play him and hope something clicks. He's a talent, and if he's on top form, he's a player that's one of the best at Aston Villa Football Club, one of the best English midfielders.
He was a king at Everton, couldn't do any wrong. Obviously had bad injuries through his early career, which would have been mentally quite tough. Goes to Chelsea for big money. Flashes of brilliance for Chelsea. Gets in the England squad. top of the world. Then he falls out of favour at Chelsea. Again, he has injuries at Chelsea. Confidence is probably at an all-time low. Hasn't played much football over the last year to 16 months, whatever it may be. Comes to Villa, hits the ground running. Unbelievable first 2 months. That's a really bad injury against Brighton. Out of the team for what, 3 months? 2 months, 3
By the
months.
time he came back, it was a long time.
2-3 months. Then did he have COVID? I'm not sure. But we didn't play for what, 3-4 weeks. Then he came back into the team. As a team, we weren't playing particularly well. He was obviously still lacking a bit of fitness, and he's clearly just suffering from a little bit of confidence. And you think these young lads are invincible, but they're not. And he's just going through a bit of a rough patch. And I think as a fan base, our job is to try and back the players and back the team. And he seems like a really decent guy as well. He's, I know it's not a great sort of barometer, but he's still posting pictures of him training, saying ready for the game and ready to go and looking forward to the game. And to me, that kind of tells me that he's, he wants to be there. He wants to play.
I think he's frustrated with himself. I think
he is. Yeah, and
he's really frustrated with himself.
People think, a player at his level, could you imagine if you're trying to impress your boss or you're trying to impress an external boss, i.e. Gareth Southgate, and he's in the stands, and deep down that you're not playing particularly well, and he was probably trying too hard against Leicester, and we weren't. We were poor. We were really bad in that first half, and he just got hauled off, and he was, as you say, he was more gutted about himself than he was about Dean Smith. I don't think that wasn't a dig at Dean Smith. That wasn't him throwing a strop at being taken off. That was him being angry with himself and being frustrated that, his goal is to get into that England squad for the Euros. And at the minute he's not quite there. So I think if we can just back him and he finds a bit of form that he had pre-injury when he first joined us, like I say, keep him fit. I'd love to see him next year on a permanent. I really would. I think he's the class of player that we need. He's that kind of player. If we can get people like him, Tammy Abraham, just build that.
Going to be giving Chelsea some money in.
If
you're in charge.
So be it. I mean,
Dolan, I think that does us for this match preview. Although, to be fair, we've done many things, probably previewing the Newcastle game. Wasn't actually one of them. It turned into a bit of a general discussion about Villa's plight at the moment. But thanks ever so much for joining me, mate. Always good to talk to you.
I'll see you Friday, mate, for sure. Yeah, hopefully, celebrating 3 points.
He's in the post match. He's ready for the Purity post match pint on Friday. Don't forget to check us out on that live show on Friday straight after the game. And don't forget to check out our sponsors as well, Luke Roper. They've got a new summer range out. If you go into their store, the code and the web address has been flashing up at the top of the screen. Go and check that out and check out their new gear. As I say, Dolan and myself will be back with some guests maybe as well on Friday after the Newcastle game. Hopefully you've enjoyed this preview. Thanks ever so much for watching. Up the Villa.